All right, everybody, welcome back here. Going to recap Week 3 NFL action. PG, what'd you think of today's games?
I was wrong on all my picks, so I was kind of disappointed in myself. Not sad, just disappointed in myself. But there were some good games out there, particularly Saints, fucking Falcons. Man, that was a good game.
That was a thriller right there, man. That was Steve Sarkisian just putting mushroom stamps on everybody's foreheads who says he can't drop a play to throw a touchdown pass because I think Matt Ryan threw, 5 of those things?
Score ended up being 40-37 or something like that. But if you started Drew Brees in fantasy, give yourself a little pat on the back. And more importantly, a moment of silence for the people that started Kirk Cousins, Vikings D, Dan Bailey. A quick moment of silence, guys.
All right, way to go. Now, everybody, yeah, if you were minus 16.5 on the Vikings, you were already getting your mortar and pestle out, crushing those Excedrin PM real early in that game.
That thing went south
real quick. So let's go ahead. Let's just start there. I mean, that's a big upset of the week. You got the Bills, the lifeless Bills. Hey, man, is 16.5 really enough points for them? I was shitting on them. I was like, man, I wouldn't give them 20 more points. Well, guess what? 27-6, and that 6 was a garbage-ass pity touchdown that they scored at the end of the game.
Fourth quarter. Yep, it was really 27-0, and then unfortunately these games have to be 4 quarters, and they have to be finished. If not, it would have ended 27-0. Blown away by Josh Allen. Completely blown away. I don't know what else there is to say. I mean, other than Vontae Davis thinking about coming out of retirement,
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I'm blown away by Allen, but
I am
pleasantly surprised. I mean, he was definitely no Nathan Peterman today. And what I'll say is I knew, hey, here I am. I'm gonna circle back to this. Maybe I should put that fork away that I got out week 2. Do the Bills have something going here? I mean, are we looking at a potential Bills playoff run? I mean, they beat one of the best teams in the NFC. I don't want to overreact to this. I'm not known for that. But, whoa. I mean,
you're not known for anything because nobody listens to us. But here's some advice. Take that finger, put it in the back of your throat, vomit up what you ate last week. The Bills might not be as terrible as we originally thought. So give a round of applause to Bills fans. You guys did, or the Bills did actually pretty.
They circled those wagons today, man. They got the wagons out. They circled them, and then they ran right the fuck over Kirk Cousins because that was a terrible performance on his part. People there lusting after Case Keenum, well, unless they were also watching the Broncos game simultaneously, and then maybe they weren't. But they were fantasizing, hey, what would it have been like if Case Keenum would have been here? Or what if we got Alex Smith? We could have done something today. Really terrible. All I'm going to say is I would not want to be like a wild animal on the road when Mike Zimmer's driving home. I'm not saying he's going to swerve to take you out, but he's probably driving home in the type of mood where he's not going to move his car.
He's going to move his car. You're a golden retriever, you're crossing the street, and at the last second you lock eyes with that golden retriever. He's not going to swerve. He's just going to close his eyes.
Mike would swerve for one of those. He's not a monster like that, but I'm just saying possum or below. It's going to be a rough day for you if you're in the path of Mike Zimmer's Escalade on the way home from this thing, because he's not leaving with a lot of good intentions after this.
Yeah, it's pretty hilarious. Who's to blame? Is it a coaching issue? Because this is supposed to be kind of a walk in the park. They couldn't even get in the end zone until the fourth quarter.
Well, knowing Zimmer, he's still blaming that rookie kicker from last week. He's just thinking it's a hangover from that, and he's gonna put that guy back on the roster just to fire his ass again. So they're panicking up in Minnesota. I don't think they need to because the Packers look terrible today, but they're still 2-1. Or actually, no, Vikings won 1-1. Same record as
the Browns. Yep, there you go. So what else is there to say, man? It's tough to be in Milwaukee right now, man. They don't have a lot to be happy about, and on top of everything,
that's in Wisconsin, brother. That's in Wisconsin. They're in Minnesota.
Minnesota.
That's a whole different nameless, useless northern state that we're talking about there. So
no offense to if our one listener is in that area, I just don't know because I've never been up there. All I know is that it's cold and that you guys have issues with your basketball team right now, Minnesota Timberwolves. You got Jimmy Butler throwing a hissy fit. Tom Thibodeau.
Yeah, it's a tough week for people in Minnesota. You got Thibodeau on his way out. I mean, well, it's weird. Thibodeau's the president of basketball operations.
Yeah.
And he told the GM, hey, don't trade Jimmy Butler. And then the owner's like, hey, fuck Tom Thibodeau. You better get rid of this Jimmy Butler fella. I'm tired of him.
Yeah.
So
and on top of everything, this guy's trying to go behind everybody's back and sign Joakim Noah. He's trying to recreate like a 2012 Chicago Bulls team in Minnesota with players that are 6 years older.
Don't you think that Thibodeau and Gruden are just having lunch together at some restaurant that hasn't, it's like some old diner that hasn't changed in 50 years, talking about how great things used to be in 2004? Like that's gotta be their life, because Gruden's doing the same fucking thing out in Oakland.
Raiders.
Yeah, Raiders 0-3, Dolphins 3-0. Hey, Dolphins, I don't care if you go 10-0. I'm still not going to believe that you have the potential to make the playoffs. I'm not a believer. You're the worst. There's a Minnesota Vikings team. I remember when that was, like 5-10 years ago, 5-0. Everybody's like, man, they're going to win the Super Bowl. They didn't even make the fucking playoffs. Well, that's you,
that's
Miami.
The Dolphins, yeah.
That's your worst 3-0 team in recent history.
What if they go into New England next week and just absolutely sexually assault the Patriots? What do you think? Are you still a believer, or are you still going to wait until they're like
I don't know. And I mean, unless somebody testifies in front of the Senate committee, I don't know if I can believe them about anything about that. But anyhow, you talk about the Raiders. They're probably the worst team in the league. Let's be real about that. The Dolphins are 3-0 because they've played 3 of the worst teams in the NFL. And the Raiders, oh, wait a minute. Calculator's still frazzing out there, John. Still can't assign that value for wins per dollar when it comes to your contract. Derek Carr, ooh, he's looking worse. He's looking worse every week.
Yeah. Again, Derek Carr, more like Derek Bicycle. Oh yeah, but he's been playing absolutely terrible.
He's a Derek unicycle this week.
He was really bad. He had this
balance on.
He had like a 40-yard pass that he just launched up in the air and wasn't even close to hitting his receiver. And then that new corner, Xavier Howard, who's like, I think he's a rookie corner. He like returned it for like 40 yards. But the Dolphins are looking a little bit better than the Raiders. Dolphins did good today. They got Xavier Howard, the night corner, and they got that little running back, Albert Wilson, who put up 2 touchdowns themselves. So I'm not a Dolphins believer, but they were looking a little bit better than they were last week. I'm still not expecting much. They still got to go into the Patriots and beat Bill Belichick. It's only going to take Bill Belichick about 30 minutes of YouTube footage to figure out how to beat the Dolphins. So I'm really not expecting much for the Dolphins.
No, I mean it's enjoy it right now. If you own Dolphin stock, sell. It's never getting any higher than it is right now, but hey, they can go good. They can all 50% of the stadium that showed up there, they left happy.
It was a full stadium. I was confused. It was a full stadium.
It wasn't.
Yeah, it was a full stadium. It was like it was 90% full. It was like a very full stadium, which surprises me. I thought it would be a little bit emptier, but Dolphins fans, they came out in droves. Probably got those tickets off of Craigslist for $20 or something, but they were out there.
They were out there.
If you got a Dolphins t-shirt, wear it for the next week, because sometime next week you're probably not going to be wearing that again.
Yeah, wear loud, wear proud,
back on.
Be who you are. It's 2018. You don't need to be ashamed to be a Dolphins fan anymore. You can come out as a Dolphins fan. We won't judge you. Yeah. I'll tell you, we won't judge Andy Dalton. Wait, we will judge Andy Dalton. Bengals at the Panthers. Panthers 31-21. We had full-on Andy. We met Bad Andy today. Hey, Bad Andy, thanks for showing up, because he threw 352 yards.
4.
Yeah, 2 touches, but he was 8/10 of a Peterman. So 4 picks from Andy. Nearly went full Peterman. You're never going to win a ball game giving it up that much. So
that was the classic Andy Dalton game. Never really had a
chance because of Andy.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, what else is there to say? It was a classic Andy Dalton game. He put up 352 yards with 4 interceptions. You can't win games like that. Cam Newton, I can't get enough of Cam Newton smiling with that car salesman smile of his in the end zone. He had 2 Superman moments, and I enjoyed both of those Superman moments. I think we called it last week. It was either going to be a good showing by Cam or a bad showing, good showing by Dalton or a bad showing by Dalton. And got
the coin called it. The coin called that thing. We were like, hey, we don't talk about this. What do you think, coin? He's like, it's going to be good Cam, bad Andy, 100%. Yep. We should have listened to you.
Sometimes the coin right. Sometimes he's right, and we knew in that moment to trust, because it was. I think it was like a 3. The Panthers were a -3, so it was kind of like up in the air. It was almost a coin toss. So when it comes to a coin toss, we ask our intelligent co-star the coin, and he came up with some great info. He picked the Panthers, so we jumped on the Panthers.
Yeah, so
Christian McCaffrey.
They definitely covered there. Miami was going off at -3 as well. They covered that, as so it's 2 covers there. The Bills, obviously, they took the better end of that bet if you had money on these games. I will say Christian McCaffrey actually put up some rushing yards this week. That was good to see. 28 attempts, 184 yards. So if they can get something going on the ground there, Panthers 2-1. That's a strong division right there. I know the Falcons are 1-2 after the loss to the Saints, but that's going to be another tight one. If you're going to get 3 teams, especially with the bullshit that's going on in the North, I think we could have another 3-team from the NFC South sort of playoff going on.
They did that last year, and they did that a couple years before. NFC South, a very enjoyable division. The games are always tight. The games are always good. What else is there to say? I can't wait for next week.
It's going to be a good one. Let's go to the opposite end of the spectrum. We knew this was going to be a turd going in. It looked like it might be decent, but it wasn't. Broncos at the Ravens. Ravens 27, Broncos 14. Spread on that one. What was going on there? What do we have on that thing? Let's see here. I don't know. I'm sure the Ravens fucking covered. It wasn't a 13-point spread. But anyhow, Case Keenum showed up in the way that I knew Case Keenum would. He was terrible, 192 yards with the pick. He got out-dueled by Joe Flacco. If you're ever looking at yourself in the mirror and realizing that, time to start thinking about whether or not you belong as an NFL quarterback.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, the Ravens are 2-1. That means they're better than the Browns. So the Ravens are right now in the lead, tied with the Bengals for 1. It might be an entertaining division down the road, but it remains to be seen. I think you called it, though. The Broncos, they started 2-0. They were the big fakers. They were faking it.
They were faking it just like the Dolphins still are. I don't think you forgot about you, Miami. You're fucking
about the Broncos. I was a little sad about the Broncos. Their defense kind of played shitty. Von Miller had more penalties than he did sacks. He played absolute dog shit. I was expecting some sack dances. I didn't get any. So Von Miller, if you're listening, come on, buddy.
Come on, Von. Come on, Von. So that takes a little bit of heat off Joe Flacco, Jim Harbaugh. They're sitting right, heading into week 4. My money, the best game of the week, Saints at Falcons. What are you going to say the overtime game where 80 points were scored was the best game of the week? That's a hot take, I know. But this was a hell of a game to watch. Drew Brees, Matt Ryan going at it, 8 touchdowns between the two of them. Awesome. Of course, I got this. I took a picture of Dan Quinn at some point in the fourth quarter. There's always a moment in the fourth quarter where you can find Dan Quinn on the sidelines looking absolutely scared shitless. Because I don't know what that guy's thinking at the end of games, but he's a full-on panic mode coach.
Yeah, he had 8 lead changes that game. 8 fucking lead changes. So it was a very enjoyable game. Dan Quinn still disillusioned from the nightmare of the 28-3 loss to the Patriots. He's never going to get over that. It could be just a PTSD kind of thing. He might just have to endure that for the rest of his life. But fantasy players unite. 49 points for Matt Ryan. Drew Brees, 45 points. Enjoyable game for everybody to watch. And what's better than watching the Falcons lose at home? Again, always enjoyable.
Always enjoyable. Ridley's looking good. He got 3 touchdown passes. Thomas for the Saints. He set that record for most catches in the first 3 games. I guess that means something. I don't know. But
you know what that means, yeah.
Yeah, hey, good for you.
Did you see that Drew Brees spin move at the very end?
I did. That was nice. You talk about awesome. a picture-perfect thing to put on video of how to not wrap up. That was almost Marcus Williams level. That was the Saints getting a little bit of payback for that terrible tackle that Marcus Williams had in that Minnesota Miracle. Because that was a dog shit effort by everybody on the Atlanta side there.
Yeah, I don't know what the fuck happened. It was like one guy just kind of like, and the other guy just like,
You got two defenders, and then you got Drew Brees at 6 foot and
40
maybe
years
205
old, 6
pounds. Like, get his ass on the ground, people. Like, did you ever remember those old baseball fundamental videos with Fred McGriff that they used to always play? They used to always play these like baseball fundamental videos where they'd always show kids like throwing baseballs against nets and grounding, getting ground balls. They need to send one of those to the Atlanta Falcons defense so they can learn to actually widen their arms out and use them to help tackle, because that was terrible. Dan Quinn, defensive coordinator for the Seahawks, he's a pretender. He got that job. He never should have gotten it. And his, that's going to start heating up if he keeps losing games like this.
They just always lose the games in the end. It's never like I guess this is the exception because it was kind of a tight game, but the Falcons are just notorious for losing games at the end. Their defense is so good at the beginning, and then at the end they just kind of fizzle away. I mean, just go up to Drew Brees and hug him gently. You know what I mean? Just
put your arms around the guy.
Hug him. Put your arms around him, hug him. You don't even have to throw him to the ground. They're gonna call the whistle because it's fucking Drew Brees. Just hug him, caress him, enjoy the moments that you have with sweet Drew Brees and his cute little caterpillar birthmark, and just enjoy it.
I don't think that thing's contagious. I hope it isn't. What is what is contagious is the fear going on in Houston at their 0-3 record. When you get middle arm Eli Manning rolling into your building, taking you out 27-22, Giants with the win there. Texans were 3.5-point favorites, so Giants with the cover as well. Manning 297, 2 touchdowns. Saquon Barkley only had 82 yards with a touchdown, but he had a couple runs where I was like, all right, I get it. I get why
he's a beast.
People are into that guy.
Yeah, he's good. He's got those big legs. I don't know if you heard about this. Have you seen this?
Did you know his legs are big? I didn't even know that.
He does have big legs, though.
I mean, it's a reason people are talking about him. They're not talking about him ironically. They're just kind of pointing out how ridiculously big the dude's legs are. It's also, Watson.
Hey, let's go back though. Let's talk about Bill O'Brien for a moment.
Yes, let's always talk about Bill O'Brien's job security because
I'm always on. I think every week I always talk about Bill O'Brien's job security and how I still don't understand.
We need to get a sponsor for that. Mako with their sponsor of PokerGuy's Bill O'Brien job security update. Where are the burners at here? Because damn it, I can hear him, man. The pot's getting warm.
It's just, another thing too is when you have a team that you have expectations that are really low and your team just performs to that expectation or under that expectation, it's not like really a bad thing. It's like, okay, we knew we were going to be terrible. It is what it is. But the Texans were kind of projected not to be the first in the AFC South. That's was the Jaguars. But I don't know. They were expected to be a little bit better, and they're starting 0-3. And it's not like they've lost any good games. I guess the Patriots lost. You could say that's okay. Like that's a reasonable loss. You can't lose to the Giants at home. You can't do that. You have healthy J.J. Watt, healthy Clowney on this. You can't do that.
You can't do that. It's going to be – I will say this, though. It's going to be a short honeymoon for the Giants, so they got to go in.
They needed that game, though. Big Blue needed that game to kind of win, where they can hold hands gingerly. Odell Beckham doing goofy sit-ups after catches, looking sharp on the field. Everybody's kind of getting to their groove now. It's a potential perfect storm looming, enough moisture in the air for that precipitation for that Category 4 hurricane that's soon going to be developed as a 9-7 Giants team could potentially squeak into the playoffs because that division is no bueno.
It's no bueno, but they got to deal with the NFC South this year. And they're basically in the NFC South for the next month. They got New Orleans at home. They're at Carolina. They got Philly at home, and they're at Atlanta. Reasonable that the Giants lose all 4 of those games, and that all these good feelings are washed away very quickly.
But it's like the Browns win, dude. The Browns were acting like they won a fucking playoff game. Everybody in the street, oh my God, we did it! Everybody's clapping, holding hands. You see that shit when they won a game?
I'd like to shit on them. I'm a big fan of shitting on Browns fans, but. Yeah, it's got to be a good moment. It's been a couple years since your football team won a game. Enjoy it, drink a few beers. Was that?
Because that honeymoon is over.
Go ahead and have a couple cold ones. You didn't earn it. I guess none of those fans actually earned it, but you can enjoy it. You can enjoy that.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, I didn't fucking enjoy 1 minute of Titans and Jaguars.
Jaguars.
Oh, man, this was gross. This was gross, and this is a reminder of why you should not bet on the Jaguars in the playoffs. Because baby hands Bortles, he showed the fuck up today. 155 yards. The offense was stagnant, could not move. Mad Mike Vrabel, hey, 2-1. He's got the Titans 2-1.
Pretty unwatchable game. What else can you say? Unwatchable game. Blaine Gabbert got hurt from a concussion or something, and they started Mariota.
That was the spark the Titans needed to get that 9th point on the board, though. That was the spark that they needed to get things going.
It took him about 2 quarters to have Mariota actually do anything, and even that, he only had 100 passing yards. I don't know how much he rushed for, because I think he rushed for a little bit more than that. But it was still a very unwatchable game. But they're tied for first in the AFC South, so AFC South is still a funky division. I don't think the Texans are going to come close. I don't think the Colts are going to come close. I think the Colts are 0-3. Or maybe, what is it, 1-2?
1-2, yeah.
It might be 1-2. So we'll see. It's just a division that I don't care much about. It's a division that I'm sorry for all you AFC South lovers. I just can't get excited for this division. I just can't.
There's no reason that you should. But I will say this: one of the things I did see was Doug Marrone tried to pull a Mad Mike Vrabel on Mad Mike Vrabel, and you don't bullshit a bullshitter, Doug, because he tried to pull a fake punt off on Mad Mike and got stuffed.
It's not going to happen.
Absolutely stuffed. Yeah, he's looking out for that. He's seen that before. Guess when he saw it last week when he pulled it off. And
you know who couldn't pull off any fake shenanigans was Tennessee last night against Florida. So I guess the Titans, Titans, that's a good thing. But for all you people out in Knoxville listening,
a lot of sad Vols fans.
A lot of sad Vols fans. If you had 7 turnovers and you make the Florida Gators look decent,
a lot of sad, classless, loser ass Vol fans. You guys are fucking scum. Like seriously, the shittiest fan base in all college football. You tied a man to Jerry Sandusky and drug his name through the mud because you didn't want him to be your football coach, and you're all pieces of shit for doing that. And I fucking hate Greg Schiano. I would have come like 2 steps short of doing that probably if he was about to coach my football team. But that's too far, man. Don't accuse the man of being complicit in a child molestation ring just because you don't want him to coach football for your team. You guys are losers. You deserve every little bit of agony that's coming your way. And that comes in the form of Tennessee Volunteers being horrible and the Tennessee Titans being completely unwatchable. Here's a fan base next that I don't know if they deserve this, but we need to have a brief moment of silence. Because Jimmy Garoppolo, brother, your season is over, right? I know they're worried. So Chiefs hosting the 49ers, 38-27. Chiefs get the win and the cover. But the big news coming from there, other than Patrick Trebuchet, I used to buy weed from that guy, Mahomes, and his Trebuchet arm breaking Peyton Manning's touchdown record for the first 3 games. The big news is by Jimmy G. That ACL's torn. I don't need an MRI to tell me that.
Yeah, that was a weird hit, too. That wasn't even more of a hit. It's almost like once he jumped off of his left foot, it was almost like it was already torn.
He tore it before he got hit. He tore it on that cut right before he got hit. There's 2 things that I can spot from a mile away. An ACL tear, and the other thing, too, that Breda guy for their team, he might have torn his ACL, too. Let's see what the MRI, the running back, he's leading the league in rushing, and he might have tore his damn knee up, too. But the thing with that is,
over for the Niners.
I can spot an ACL injury from a mile away, but I could spot a broken collarbone from about 3 states away. You can just tell when somebody falls. You see him put that arm out, and some 300-pound dude falls on him. He broke his fucking collarbone right there. You can
That's the Tony Romo special.
Yeah, it's the Tony Romo, Aaron Rodgers special. We've all seen that enough. That thing snapped again. But
face down, not moving, maybe a little bit of ankle movement here and there, but not moving. Yeah, that's a broken clavicle right there.
It's a broken clavicle.
You got to feel bad for Niners fans, though. Everybody was excited. I wasn't on the Jimmy G bandwagon circle jerk, but I was excited to see him play a little bit. And it happened at the very end of the game, 4th quarter. Kind of a bummer for the Niners. Not a bummer for the Chiefs fans. Chiefs fans are still excited. Patty Mahomes. I thought he was Irish to the name. Once I seen him, I knew, that was a guy I used to buy weed from.
Yeah, you used to score from that guy. He had good shit.
Throwing laser beams out there. I don't know if you saw that one play. It was, of course, you've seen that one play when he did the double back, reverse,
he moved back around and threw back in the corner of the end zone. That was sweet.
Yeah, but how nice was that throw though? That was an absolute fucking laser beam. That was like a Mike Vick reincarnated. Yeah, he's so sick.
He leveled out. He leveled off the fucking defense there. Torched him with the Patriot missile, and just he can't be stopped. I will say this: I think Pat Mahomes. No disrespect to Donovan McNabb, Alex Smith, or Michael Vick, but or actually my boy Nicky too. I think he played for Andy for a while. But I gotta say, Pat Mahomes is by far and away the best quarterback that Andy Reid has ever had on his team.
It's still early to tell, I think, but you can kind of tell that Andy Reid, because he's not a smiler by any means, but they'll kind of pan to him every once in a while, and you'll see that mustache ever so gingerly raised a little bit to the north. It smiles ever so slightly. He's excited. He knows what he's got. And on top of everything, Mahomes wasn't playing that good the first half. You got to give credit to their entire offense. Their O-line is the shit. Their offense is the shit. Travis Kelce, I hope you punch out a referee or you do what you do, because you are the shit too. I'm excited by the Kansas Chief offense, but they're the type of team to go 16-0. and then they're going to play they'll play the Jaguars in the AFC wildcard game. And let me ask you, Bobby, what's going to happen?
Playoff Andy's going to show up, and then that's going to be the end. That's going to be the end of a magical season for whatever team Playoff Andy's coaching. But hey,
that's my prediction.
Playoff Andy's like 13 weeks away. Everybody, let's just enjoy regular season Andy while he's out there coaching the team. Enjoy Pat Mahomes doing his thing. Let's go on to the next game here. This was a stinker. Let's go from Pat, I used to buy weed from that guy, Mahomes, straight into Josh. Hey, I ratted out Pat Mahomes for selling weed, Rosen. He got his debut today in the Cardinals-Bears game. Bears 16, Cardinals 14. Cardinals with the cover there, though. Trubisky was terrible. He was Blake Bortles light, as always. And then your boy, Mr. Glass. Your boy, Mr. Glass. Not a good game.
Classic showing, 157 yards, 2 interceptions. I don't even count the 2 touchdowns because it's Sam Bradford. It's just 2 interceptions. That just is what it is. I wasn't expecting much. Nothing was delivered. And then you had Josh Rosen at the end with the Hail Mary attempt, and he just got sacked. He didn't even get a chance to throw it. So to every hero, there is a villain, and in this story, Josh Rosen is the villain. I'm excited to see how he pans out. It takes a couple years for that hate to build. Kind of like Loki in Marvel movies, A couple years for him to sit in the shadows of Pat Mahomes until where he can become the superstar that we all expect him to be, the antithesis.
Exactly. And I will say this for the Bears. I'll give them a lot of credit. On that Hail Mary play, they did something that I wish everyone did. They just blitzed the shit out of Rosen. They didn't let him. They didn't rush 3, let him dance around for 30 seconds, and then pop the ball straight up in the air where everybody can catch it. They just sent people after him. I just got right on top of him before he could do anything, and that was the end of the game. People need to start doing that more, but they're too scared. And I'll give Matt Nagy that. He didn't look scared in the game, but you don't really need to look scared when you're playing the Cardinals, though. You don't have to have any fear in your brain.
They had Khalil Mack, too, pushing 2 people off the edge, so it really wasn't that hard. Let's just blitz like another 2, 3, 4 people, and it's over. And guess what? It was over. So good job.
It was over. Not much to talk about there. Let's go ahead and move on to the Battle of Los Angeles that nobody fucking cares about. All right, I will get to the game here in a minute, but they're playing at the Coliseum, which is the Rams' home stadium. And I got pictures to prove it. I'll put them out on Twitter for no one to look at later. And it's just like, that thing is fucking 20% full. It's 20% full with both of the teams playing there. What the hell are we doing with 2 football teams in Los Angeles? People in Los Angeles don't give a shit about football. Send somebody to Oklahoma, man. Let Russ Westbrook hang out on the sideline while people are actually giving a shit about football. Because these people in LA, they don't fucking care.
Yeah, they don't give a shit. And then on top of that, they put the Los Angeles Chargers. They brought them to Los Angeles. Excuse me.
You're going to offend all 3 of their fans. You keep talking like that.
Well, I don't know because I'm broke as fuck and I'm not a bajillionaire. But Dean Spanos, by moving his team to Los Angeles, the value of the team went up almost like double, almost triple. So they're just not even selling T-shirts at this point. Just them being in Los Angeles for whatever reason grants them money. I don't know. I'm a fucking retard.
I don't get the math on that. It's like, what's going to happen? Oh, we're gonna get a soccer stadium, okay, and then we're gonna fill it with about 18 of our fans. All right, and then what? And we're gonna make about $40 million every year. Let's do that. Yeah, I don't know. I can't remember. I blacked out on all the first things that you said, but I remember that last part where I make more money and I'm Dean Spanos, so I'm gonna do that.
It's crazy. It's absolute fucking crazy talk. But yeah, going back to that game, a game that we all expected was the Rams going to be a win for the Rams. And guess what? The Rams won. Chargers, 226 yards, 2 touchdowns for Phillip Rivers. Jared Goff clearing 350, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception. So the Rams are still looking sharp. Chargers still looking woefully terrible and depressing. So I'm not expecting much for the Chargers looking at this showing. So we'll see. We'll see, but the Rams taking it home. Rams probably going to be 16-0 this season. Hot take.
Yeah, Rams 16-0. Actually, Rams 19-0. They're going to run the table here. Go ahead, plan the parade route, start cutting up the confetti, and then let's just get that. Let's just end the season right now. We're going to end the NBA season. Warriors win again, and then we're just going to end the NFL season. Rams win this one.
Rams win it. Nobody shows up to the parade.
Yeah, and no one's even there to give a shit at the parade. Nah, I didn't even. Oh, I'll be darned. I'm gonna send a tweet out about that in my support of the Rams.
They need to move one of those teams to San Antonio, man. San Antonio. I mean, Texas people love their Tex-Mex. They love their obese women, and they love their football. They need to send those players to San Antonio. They need to shut up shop over there. They really just need to put a football team there. I feel like San Antonio is a large enough city for them to be able to.
I don't care where they put it. Just don't put it in Los Angeles. I mean, take it to Billings, Montana for all I give a shit. Just put it somewhere where people actually care that they have a football team. Is that too much to ask?
Send it to one of those cryptic NHL cities like Winnipeg.
Yeah.
Winnipeg.
Having two football teams in Los Angeles is like having three hockey teams in Phoenix. It just doesn't make any sense.
Makes no sense.
What are we doing here, Roger? Come on. I'm going to blame Roger Goodell on this thing. Boo.
I'm going to blame Cam Newton.
Actually,
Roger Goodell.
You're right. Boo. How Cam let this happen? Well, the guy's got no respect for the game. He's got no respect for anything. No respect for women. He's the problem of all. He's the cause of all the NFL's ills.
Who's got speaking of no respect, who has no respect for Clay Matthews? The fucking referees. Let's move on to Redskins Packers. What is going on with these stupid calls, man? What is going on with these calls?
All right, mate.
Is that the new elephant in the room, dude? Is that the new rule change? You can't hit him above the neck area?
No, what he keeps getting called for is what they've made as a point of emphasis.
Hold on, let me get my calculator out because I need a calculator to fucking make sense.
Yeah,
hold on a second.
You're gonna have to get a couple pie charts going here, Venn diagrams, things of that nature, visual representation. To actually understand this NFL rule. But here's the deal: he keeps falling on the guy. That's the whole thing. They don't want people to fall on the quarterbacks because then they can't run around and tear their ACLs without getting touched. So it's like
you sound like somebody who's trying to sell me a timeshare, but you don't. You know that you're full of shit. That makes no sense.
I know you're about to get ripped off and you're about to get trapped in a really bad contract. So I'm not really. I don't really want you to do this. I'm gonna pass you a note when the presentation is over because you seem like a really nice guy. Like, hey, real quick. I'm just gonna slide it into your pocket. And then I'm going to hopefully never see you again because you seem like a nice guy. But anyhow.
You need a fucking timeshare in Aspen, bro. You don't fucking need a timeshare, dog.
You don't need it, man. I looked at your credit score. You really don't fucking need this thing, man. Just like Clay Matthews doesn't need another roughing the passer penalty at an inopportune time. Well, here's something we didn't see coming, or at least I didn't see coming. Redskins are 2-1 here. Redskins are tied for first in the NFC East. I know we're 3 games into this. That doesn't mean anything. But I didn't see that coming. I also didn't see the second or third or whatever rebirth we are on of Adrian Peterson.
Give that bitch the rock. Give him the fucking rock.
Give him the
rock. Let him run.
There are 2 things that Adrian Peterson does not believe in. He doesn't believe in disciplining his children with pussy methods like timeouts and things like that. He's going to get the switch. He's going to come after him. And he does not believe in CTE. He thinks it's a myth. He's a flat earther. He doesn't believe in CTE. Give the dude the rock as many times as he can take it, and that's going to make him happy.
That's the rebirth, man. Rebirth, 19 carries, 120 yards, 2 touchdowns. And did you see that one run? Like that 40-yard little run. He's like pushing people off him and stuff.
That was old school.
I felt like it was 2000. Yeah, I felt like it was 2012 again. That was so cool to watch. I don't know how long he can maintain it, but I don't think there's any NFL fan out there that will say they don't want to see that continue day after day. It's kind of like watching Marshawn Lynch run through people. That shit never gets old. Adrian Peterson running over people. That shit never gets old.
It doesn't. I think Marshawn's washed though. He's got nothing left.
He's just old.
He's just too slow. Dude. He can run over little dudes, but he can't run over medium-sized guys anymore, and that's not going to get him. What's funny here is he
didn't have a bad game today, though. He didn't have a bad game.
I'm looking at the stats, and the Redskins have a receiver. I don't know what his name is, but it's V. Davis. And I was like, is that no, that's not. That guy's retired. I was like, no, Vontae's retired. Never mind. He's retired. I guess the Bills put him on some sort of list where they're like, fuck you. Like, no matter what Vontae Davis does, he can't come back into the NFL this year. So they put him in a little lockdown there. Couple games.
Can he unretire? Is he allowed to unretire and rejoin
I think
the Bills
he
franchise?
can unretire, but not during the league year or something like that. Like he'd have to file some sort of grievance or something with the Players Association. I don't know. Vontae Davis, he's not coming. He's not coming back. I don't think he's coming back. I don't think he wants to come back. That's what's funny, though, is he quit at halftime of that game. He must have been feeling like a real asshole sitting there watching them smoke check the Vikings today. It's like, man, all I had to do was get rid of that cancer, and now we're doing a lot better. I guarantee Sean
awesome.
McDermott had one of those come-to-Jesus moments with everybody where he was threatening people's, not just only their livelihoods, but probably the well-being of quite a few people's family members.
Yeah, he's getting verbally aggressive, ostracizing people. But going back to Vontae Davis, somebody Snapchatted Vontae Davis, like in the locker room. What's up, baby? Hey, 1-2, baby.
I hope people just come out and they're just like, "Fuck you, Vontae. We hate you, man. We hate you. Every moment without you is a joy. Can't wait to enjoy this plane ride home without your ass."
Oh, man. You know what would have been good? We dedicate this win to Vontae Davis, our lost brother. Some bullshit like that, some PR
Yeah, pretend like he died in a car accident or something.
Good.
Just pretend like it's in remembrance of Vontae.
Light some candles or something.
They should have a moment of silence at the next home game for Vontae.
If they did that, like if they clowned on in if they went 1-15 for the rest of the season, but every game was like this season is dedicated, whatever, some kind of announcement.
They should put a patch on their uniform, like one of those little helmet things, or a little like 32 VD. Should get one
Everybody would love that, dude. Everybody would love that. There's only one person that wouldn't like that, and that's Vontae Davis.
Everyone gets a black armband.
Funny. The black armband with like the little blue stripe in there, whatever needs to be. But do it is gonna crack.
You inspired us.
Speaking of comebacks and feeling like it's 2012, man. Did you see Tiger Woods today? I know you're a Tiger Woods guy.
Oh man, he's back. He's back. So I watched the first set of games, and then that afternoon set was what Cowboys, Seahawks, Cardinals, Bears, and then some other garbage. The Rams game. Couldn't watch that, so I had the TiVo going for Tiger Woods' golf tournament. Because I don't watch golf, but what I did, I just fast-forwarded through about 4.5 hours of golf coverage in 30 minutes. Because that's all you're actually seeing of Tiger Woods hitting the golf ball.
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah, dude won, man. It was amazing. It was so good to have him back. And he's going to be having a hell of a time at Waffle House tonight. There's going to be a great party going on for Tiger.
He's been to grow up in a lot of waitresses tonight.
Yeah, it was sweet though, man. I mean, him coming down 18, it was a mob scene. It was an absolute mob scene. I never seen anything like it. People were fucking pumped. I'm pumped. I wish it was April already so I could watch him win the Masters. I'm gonna tune in Sunday, like towards the end of it, and watch him win the Masters. But it was good, man. It was good to get that 2 hours of golf in for the year.
It was it's kind of crazy. I don't know enough about golf, but he seems like he crawled out of the fucking gutter. You know what I mean? Like he was in the sewer for years. He got a fucked up back. He couldn't even finish games, or he couldn't even finish tournaments.
Well, he's just
not only did he crawl out,
he broke his body.
He's a broken man.
Like he broke his body, he broke his soul. I mean, he got to the point where he's just crunching on Vicodins all day, and that's just gonna fuck anybody up. And I think after he got caught sleeping in his car, or whatever was going on there. I don't want to make any accusations that the police already made. But if, after that, he started getting his shit together for real. And just little by little, it was like, oh, man, is he back? Is he back? And today he was back. And it was great. Great to have him back. Another person
Congratulations, Tiger.
Congratulations,
Always
Tiger.
fun to root for.
I know that means a lot to you coming from us.
Always fun to root for the villain, and in my eyes, you are a villain, but you're my favorite villain, and I hope you continue to win these tournaments because you're the shit, buddy. Hey. And I'm going to go out in your honor. I'm going to buy a TW hat.
Hey, who's the most popular character from Christopher Nolan's Batman series, right? All right, Heath Ledger's Joker, man. So, Tiger, you're our most popular golfer. Another big comeback going on. We got Andrew Luck leading the Colts against the Eagles. Carson Wentz coming back. Lots of comeback themes in this game. This was a shit game, though. Tough to watch. Like, just trash all around. Eagles, they go ahead. 2016, they get the win. Colts with the cover. Andrew Luck, he didn't look good. Wentz didn't look good. Nothing about this thing looked good. I didn't enjoy really any of this thing.
It's one of those things where your ego gets bruised by some shit. Like maybe you fell on some pizza and you got some pizza sauce on your face and you're walking away at the bar and everybody's laughing at you. You got a bruised ego. This game is that game for both franchises. Let it happen. You guys aren't even going to think about it ever again. Eagles won. I thought the Eagles were going to lose. I thought this was an opportunity for Andrew Luck to kind of come in and squeak by, but it wasn't that game. So we're going to move on from here, and we're never going to speak of it again. But Nick Foles, enjoy the bench.
No Foles,
keep
no
holding
Foles
that Microsoft.
Today. No Foles means no anxiety. You can't. Bad Nick can't show up if no Nick shows up. So I mean,
no Foles, no problem. Keep holding that Microsoft Surface.
That's good for me. He looks good holding that thing. He's tall. He looks great with the hat on. Now you're good, Nick. You did anything and more that the city of Philadelphia ever could have asked of you. And the only thing you can do from this point is soil his almost perfect reputation. So I'm fine with that. Mm-hmm. We'll let Wentz keep slinging it back there. And we're going to move on to the last couple games. This was as bad as we thought. This was like, we're talking about, oh, man, Broncos-Ravens is going to be a turd fest. It was. And right alongside of it, as predicted, was the Cowboys-Seahawks game. Really unwatchable football.
Ugh.
Gross.
I had that going on. The
Dak Prescott, Russell Wilson combined for, 3 touchdowns passing, 300, less than 400 yards. They did less than Matt Ryan did in that Atlanta game.
It was really bad. It was a pretty unwatchable game. But I think the Seahawks needed this win. Really, really bad. They needed this win. Doug Baldwin on the sideline saying fuck a lot. It wasn't a good look for the Seahawks. Pete Carroll chewing that gum very fast. But they needed that win. They got the win, and they're going to move on from here. I don't know who they play next week, but it doesn't matter because I think the Seahawks are going to lose that game. Unless they're playing like the Cardinals.
Let's see what we got here.
In which case, they will win that game.
Schedule. So they're at Arizona, so that's good for Seattle. They might get another win there. And they're at the
2-2 coming in hot.
And they got Raiders. They got the Rams at home. Then they're at Oakland, at Detroit. So there's 3 or 4 of those are pretty darn winnable. If you're the Seattle Seahawks. The Cowboys here, they got coming up. They got Detroit, Houston, Jacksonville. So a couple potentially winnable games there for them. But they are the Cowboys, so you don't anticipate that.
The Dolphins have an easy schedule too. Speaking of dumpster fires, the Dolphins have a schedule too. They got to play like the Browns. They got to play the Bills and shit. They got a pretty. Let's see
the Dolphins got coming up here. They're at New England, at Cincinnati. They got Chicago, Detroit, at Houston. So, I mean, they could lose at New England, Cincinnati. They could lose. I mean, the Dolphins, I don't fucking believe in them. I don't care if they're 3-0. So they could lose any one of those games. They could lose all of those games. The wheels could come off at any point in time for the Dolphins. Russell Wilson running for his life again.
Hater.
Yeah.
Big time
hater.
Hater of the Florida teams.
Big time. So we'll go ahead.
Hurry the fuck up and talk about this goddamn game. Are we done talking about the Seahawks?
Yeah, let's
Cowboys?
move off of that. Let's move on to I guess the last game of the week for us to talk about at this point. Jets and Browns. So that went down on Thursday. Everybody shitting on Sam Darnold. Everyone sucking Baker Mayfield's dick. Hey, Browns fans, I get it. You're excited, but let's cool the Jets here. That's one win.
Yeah, it's one win. I don't know who they're playing next week.
They're at Oakland. So that's good news for any and all Browns fans. So they could get 2 in a row here, and things could get crazy in Cleveland. They're going to start betting. What's going to happen is they're going to beat the Raiders, and then some dude from Cleveland's going to fly to Vegas and put some $10,000 prop bet on the Browns to win the Super Bowl.
I just feel it, baby. I feel it. Put the mortgage, whatever. Get a second mortgage on the home.
Some drunk white dude in his 50s just flying out there, getting drunk at the roulette tables, trying to pick up prostitutes, and the next thing he knows, he wakes up in the morning in a pool of his own blood, and he's got nothing but a Browns ticket for $10,000 in the Super Bowl.
It's like The Hangover, but even less funnier.
But instead of missing an individual, you somehow ended up with a hefty bet on the Browns.
Yeah, it's not a good ending. You have all your teeth. You don't have a tattoo on your face, but you do have a ticket for the Browns win, and you're not going to win that. You might as well move to Bermuda now and get it over with. Don't come back. Did you see Baker Mayfield dancing like in Oklahoma?
Yes.
I know he was in that Oklahoma game and against Army. He was like dancing. Like I thought that motherfucker should be at home studying with like reading glasses on and his feet up and some coffee in his hand. That dude needs to be preparing for games, not like dancing on the sidelines in Oklahoma.
No, I mean, go party it up, man. I'm not a Browns fan. I don't care. If he was my guy, maybe I'd be like, man, it would be nice if he, was maybe thinking about.
I don't know. If I was Todd Haley, I'd give him a call. What the fuck are you doing?
I mean, it's technically
what the fuck are you doing,
dude?
I
mean, it's all off days. They're not going to be back in the building, I don't think, till Wednesday. So whatever he's doing, I mean, who gives a shit?
Yeah.
Did you see that thing that came out? Did you see that thing that came out that Adam Schefter put out about that Gronk potentially getting traded?
Yeah, I don't know how much truth that is in there. That might just be some ESPN like bullshit.
That's quick.
You know, everybody's on the trading block. You know, everybody's on the trading block, and everybody's upset that they're on the trading block. The only person that's not upset that they're on the trading block is Le'Veon Bell.
Yeah, I mean,
the only person.
I don't know
happy.
what's going on with him, but if I'm Pittsburgh, if I can get something for him at this point, that would be nice. That would be very nice.
Yeah, get rid of him, get it over with. But yeah, no, I did see it. I don't believe it. I mean, I'm sure it's true, but I'm sure it's not a big deal. You know, it's probably an afterthought for everybody that's involved in the situation.
Yes, indeed. And we got the Pats versus the Lions right now. It's 5:15 left in the first quarter. Lions 3-0. Pats have the ball, so we'll see how that goes as that progresses. And then of course we got the Steelers at the Bucks tomorrow night. That's gonna be a good one. I'm excited for that. Except for the fact I got to sit there and watch Booger McFarland and Jason Witten crap themselves trying to call a football game.
It's gonna be pretty unwatchable football. Bring back Mike Tirico, man. Bring back Mike Tirico and get John Gruden off the fucking field. Bring him back for like a little like classic ESPN coverage.
I don't really care who they get. Just get rid of Booger and get rid of Witten. Joe Tessitore, I'm not going to take this out on him. He's called one too many great college football games for me to think that he can't do his job, but he is getting his ass handed to him hanging out with those two guys in the booth.
Yeah. You got to get that chick that was the reporter. I forget her name. Sandra Evans or something? Something Evans? It's a white lady. She's pretty terrible too.
I don't know. Beth, are you talking about Beth Mullins? Are you talking to her?
Maybe it is Beth Mullins. I don't know, but she doesn't call it.
No, if you hear Beth Mullins on the call, you know you should just turn the the channel because you're not watching an important game. Like that's not a commentary on like how good she is. I don't think she's good or bad. It's just whenever I hear her voice, I'm like, oh, they gave her this assignment because no one cares about this game. So I don't think I should be watching it.
She usually covers like college games,
it's Rutgers, Iowa at 10 a.m. Pacific.
Oh man, Rutgers keeps losing games, dude. You see how
Rutgers got our proud Scarlet Knights got destroyed by Buffalo at home. I think they were down 42-0 at some point. So there's a few sad Scarlet Knight fans rolling around.
You know what? Too. Did you see the Virginia Tech loss to the Old Dominion? They pay money to play this team, and they got their asses kicked by Old Dominion by like 2 touchdowns. What the fuck is going on in these college?
That's embarrassing. I mean, when that happens to you, I mean, it could be worse. You could be Willie Taggart, but that's embarrassing nonetheless.
You could be Jeremy Pruitt. That would be probably the worst.
Yeah, I mean, he's at Tennessee, so that's a terrible fate. You got to deal with those losers. Any other thoughts on week 3 before we head on out?
Trying to see here. Not really. I'm just more excited how this season pans out now that all these things are coming to light. I think we were kind of right about the Rams being solid. A little confused about the Vikings right now because they have the same record as the Browns. Not much to say. Just excited for week 4. Excited to see how the NFC South pans out. Excited to not really excited, but I want to find out what happens to Jimmy G in this saga.
His ACL's torn. You don't need to find anything out. His ACL
could be a sprain. Could be a sprain. You know, it doesn't look like it wasn't like an impact thing. It was just like a lateral movement.
So 3-0 teams that we have. The only 2 3-0 teams in the AFC are the Dolphins and the Kansas City Chiefs. Like we said, the Dolphins are pretenders. The Chiefs are for real. The 0-3 teams in the AFC, of course, we got the Raiders and the Houston Texans. So I think that's accurate on the Raiders. I think that's accurate on the Chiefs. I don't think that's a reflection of how good of how good the Texans or the Dolphins are. The Texans are going to be like a 6 or 7 win team. And the Dolphins are going to be a 6 or 7 win team. So they're going to meet at the end
Cardinals?
Of it. Yeah, in the NFC, the only 3-0 team that we got right now is the Rams. The Bucks are 2-0. They're playing tomorrow night. And then we got the Cardinals. They're the only 0-3 team. They could be joined by the Lions at the end of the evening. So I think they're both trash appropriately where they belong. And then other than that, we just got a bunch of mixing 2-1s, 1-2s, and we'll get it get it all sorted out.
Well, before we get out of here, what do you think? Give me some bold predictions for tomorrow's game. Steelers
Bucks. I'm in on the Bucks, man. The Steelers. This goes one of two ways. This is gonna be a blowout. I don't know which way it goes, but this thing's a blowout. The Steelers either show up pissed as hell, ready to just rip the Bucks' heads off, and then they get on them early, drive everyone out of the stadium, or they get one or two turnovers, and then we get some more Ryan Fitzpatrick looking sweet in a press conference interview.
In Deshaun Jackson's
I wonder
clothes.
what Deshaun's wearing this week. Well, I hope we get to find out, and I hope Ryan puts it on when he's done with the game.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think it's gonna be a blowout, but maybe like a 27-10 win for the Bucks. I'm not expecting much for the Steelers. I think the noodle arm watch is still strong for Ben Roethlisberger. I know he scored some touchdowns last week, but that's against kind of a shaky Kansas City defense. So, with that being said, I think Ben Roethlisberger is back on that noodle arm watch. Eli Manning is currently not on that watch. Possibly, question mark. But anyways, going back to that, yeah, I think the Steelers will be
The Steelers are in for a tough one, but we're going to find out. All right, everybody, we'll be back with you on Thursday with a little Week 4 NFL preview.
Thanks, you nerds. See you guys next week.